What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Celtic Pride here, and today I'm bringing you guys some more NBA 2K16 gameplay as well as news. So the information that I'm bringing you guys today was brought to me by Scott O'Gallagher and Dazar in their blog posts on Operation Sports. I will once again post the link in the description to those blogs so you guys can read the information for yourself. But I am going to cover everything that's in these blogs because I don't like sparing any details, and I'm just going to tell you guys everything that they are talking about as far as improvements that they put in the game. So let's get started. Now, first, improved on-ball defensive behavior. Now, the defenses are actually going to stop players from getting to the middle of the floor. I know that last year it was super easy. You make one move and the players defend the middle just like they defend the baselines. You know, there's no difference. But now they're actually going to force you to the sides and not let you get straight to the middle of the court. Now, there's going to be anticipations and better reactions to the offensive player by the defense. For example, as you guys are going to see in a clip, Steph Curry is going to be guarding John Wall. And as John Wall tries to hit him with the size up, Steph Curry is going to recognize that and start backing off so that he's in position to make a defensive play. And as John Wall rises up for the jump shot, Steph Curry contests it very well. Next up is wingspans. So you're going to see guys like Kawhi Leonard and Giannis, they're going to be able to play further off guys because of their wingspan and their ability to contest shots from a further distance away compared to a guy that doesn't have very long arms, say like a Steph Curry or a Klay Thompson. Those guys don't have amazing wingspans, but if you got a guy like Giannis, you can sag off and still contest a shot at a very good rate. Now, off-ball defense. Now, if you guys would have noticed, a lot of the cheesers this year, if you did play stuff like My Team and stuff like that, they would run floppy plays, and those would always get them open. You know, those off-ball screens were way overpowered. The other player would just get caught behind the pick at all times. So now, if you see guys coming around screens, the defense will be better to react to it based on the type of player that's coming around that screen. And they'll be less likely to get caught behind the screens at all times, which is a really great addition there. Now, another improvement is improved hedging. So now you don't have to control the on-ball defender and the hedger. So when someone wants to hedge a screen, he will take away the ball handler based on their skill. So if there's a guy like Steph Curry coming around the screen, there's going to be a hard hedge to try to take away his jump shot. However, if there's a guy like Shaun Livingston coming around the screen, there will probably be a hedge that's lower on the floor just to make sure that Shaun Livingston doesn't get an open drive to the paint. Now, there's player-specific defensive behaviors and a new crowding system. So, this was in my last video if you guys want to check that out, but Mike Wang talked about elite defenders playing a lot differently than your average defender here. So if you're going against Kawhi or Tony Allen, you know, you're going to see that they're going to be more physical with you just like they would be in real life. And it's going to wear you down just like it would in real life also. So, also there are specific defensive animations and moves that defenders will do that others can't. And it's going to be really cool. And this will all change based on the defensive player and the offensive player that they're guarding. Now next up, we're going to talk about on-the-fly adjustments. Now, in order to make adjustments now, you don't have to call a timeout. You can just hit the L1 button. You can select the person that you want to change the adjustments on, and you can choose what type of pressure you're going to put on them and how you're going to play screens and so on and so forth there. Now, this right here, I thought was a really cool addition to the game here. So this is called the defensive on-ball and shot indicator. So you will receive feedback this year on how well you're positioned and how you contested the opposition's shot, similar to the shot meter, which is really cool. It's gonna be like when you're defending a person and you're right in their face, they're gonna tell you that you did a great job. So green means you did a great job on defense, and red means hand down, man down. So yeah, you're actually going to be able to see what type of defense you were playing on the shot. You might have thought you were playing good defense, but obviously you didn't get a hand up before that shot got released. So they're not going to reward you for stuff like that. Alright guys, so next up we have help side player indicator. So now on defense, if you're in help side, say you're in my career and you're supposed to be playing help side on a certain part of the floor, there will be an indicator that will be lighting up red to show you where you should be in help side defense, so that you can make those help side plays like double team, steals, and blocks. Now, there are new chucks and body ups for players that are cutting around the basket. So say you have a guy like JJ Redick trying to get around the screen on the baseline. If there's a big physical defender in his way, JJ Redick's not going to be able to just power through a guy, say like DeMarcus Cousins, when he's trying to go around the screen. JJ Redick's going to have to find a different route to where he wants to go, which will dramatically change the game and let physical players be able to dominate the paint like they would in real life. Okay, next, there's a championship DNA badge. So this was inspired by some talk with Doc Rivers, and he was talking about guys like LeBron and Kobe that have almost a sixth sense to know where the double team's coming from, and they're able to get rid of that ball very quickly. So this is actually going to be a badge. It's called the Championship DNA badge, and what it will be able to do for you is that when you have this badge equipped on your player or on a player that you're using, you will be able to see there will be a red circle around the player that's coming with the double team, so you'll be able to see where that double team's coming from and hit the teammate according to what the other team is doing. I think that's a really cool badge, and it'll be really valuable on your players. Alright, so now, like Mike Wang said earlier in the other blog, there's going to be team-specific defenses. So that's going to be really cool. The defenses are going to be adapting based on how the players are playing, and they're also going to be adapting based on what time of the season it is. You know, in the playoffs, there's going to be more adjustments, and in the regular season, you're going to see some generic stuff, you know? And now there are actually going to be legendary team adjustments. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Jordan rules, but those are actually going to be put into effect here in order to try to disrupt Michael Jordan while you're playing against him. And there's going to be other things like Scottie matching up on Magic. There's going to be stuff like Gary Payton guarding MJ. And there's also going to be stuff like the Celtics slowing down the game in order to stop the Showtime Lakers. Now, another thing I thought was really important is that the defense will adjust. Say if a guy like Kevin Durant has 20 points, right? But if KD has those 20 points on 26 shots, they're not going to really pay too much attention to him. You know, he's missing a lot of shots. He's not shooting the ball well this game. We're going to just let him go. Now, if KD has 28 points on 15 shots, they're going to make a big adjustment here. This guy's on fire. He's cooking. We got to slow him down. Now, also, when a guy like Andre Miller scores 20 points and a guy like Steph Curry scores 20 points, there's going to be a difference in how the defense reacts to them. So if Andre Miller has 20 right now, but you're taking away, you know, other guys on his team, it's not going to be a huge reaction from the other team there. They're going to keep shutting down the other star players. But if Steph is starting to get off a little bit, there's going to be more of a focus towards stopping Steph and making sure that his teammates beat you and not him. Now next, the pop recognition on screens. So I noticed this a lot in NBA 2K15. A lot of people would like to run KD or LeBron at the 4 and just do pick and pop, you know, wide open 3-point cheese. And now that's not going to work anymore. If the CPU sees that there's a guy like Kevin Durant setting the pick and he wants to pop, they're going to come over to him and make sure they take away that easy jump shot. Now next, pick and roll defense is going to be based on the type of players that you're using. So for example, if DeAndre Jordan is going to set a pick for Chris Paul, Jonas Valanciunas is not going to fly all the way out there and try to take away DeAndre Jordan. What he's going to do is he's just going to sit back and wait for DeAndre to get back in the paint and continue to body him up. Lowry's good enough to fight through the screen and stay on Chris Paul, so Valanciunas does not have to respect anything that DeAndre does outside of 5 feet. So he's just going to sit and wait for DeAndre to come back and play that lockdown defense. Next, you can set up junk defenses. Now this is really cool. So what junk defenses is, you know, a lot of teams in the NBA will actually switch up the type of defense that they're running at times. So for example, the Dallas Mavericks, what they'll come out in a certain defense for a few seconds at the beginning of the shot clock, but then they'll immediately switch into a 2-3 zone. And that throws a lot of teams off, so that's going to be incorporated into this game, and I think that's really cool. Now, another huge thing is called Elite Defender Responsibility. Now, in any other basketball game before 2K16, you would see maybe possibly the team's worst defender on a guy like LeBron James. But now, for example, if the Cavs are playing the Chicago Bulls, Mike Dunleavy's not going to be on LeBron anymore. Jimmy Butler's going to be on LeBron. And I hope that this carries over to my career, because if it does, it'll make things a lot easier, you know, because if you got a trash small forward on your team and LeBron's carving you up for 50 every game, it makes it really hard when you know that there's nothing you can do, because if you leave your man, he's going to knock down a wide open three, you know? All right. Now, there are switches. And you will see switches based on the type of players that are defending the pick and roll. So, for example, a team like the Bucks that have quick, agile bigs at almost every position, like Jabari Parker and Giannis, they're going to be switching picks a lot more than a team, say, that doesn't have very good foot speed like the Memphis Grizzlies. They're not going to switch Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph. So that's going to be really cool to see how those teams react differently to different plays. Now, some other slight improvements. There have been improvements to pass deflections and off-ball steals. Yeah, I know you guys have had a lot of those situations where you try to go for a steal, man, and you just smack it into the stands, or the person throws it straight to you and you tip it right back at them instead of just catching a ball that was thrown right at your head. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of different things that's going to be coming into this game, and you're definitely going to love it. You're going to see a lot of new things. Now, another thing, late shot clock pick and roll switching. You will no longer be able to just run a late shot clock pick and roll and get a good bucket every single time. The CPU is going to switch late in the shot clock and make sure that the person that's coming off the roll does not get a good look at the basket. Now, there's been improvements to transition defense, which means that guys are going to get back better, but they're also going to defend the fast break better. You know when you're coming up the court and you got three guys, the other team has 3-2, but for some reason two of them are sitting in the paint and you can just kick it out to that wide open shooter. It's not going to happen anymore. If the guys see that, there's no advantage there, they're going to D up and they're going to defend that fast break as well as possible. Now, there is now 94 feet pressure on the ball handler. And the really cool thing about this is if you have an elite defender, it will impact the stamina for both of the players, which means if you want to bog a guy down, and you have an absolute hound on defense like a Patrick Beverly or a Marcus Smart, you can definitely just throw him on there 94 feet and make sure that point guard is not comfortable while he's trying to do things. Now, as you can see right here, there is a clip of Kevin McHale. Well, I don't know if it's going to be synced up that way, but they actually have authentic coach walking here, which I think is really cool. And that should be something that adds a little bit of extra authenticity to the game. Definitely helps out the little visual aspect of the game, along with all the other things I covered in my last video. So that should be cool to see the coaches walking down the sidelines, doing their signature walks and getting angry like some of the coaches do. So yeah, now we're going to get to the blog covered by the Czar. And pretty much what he was explaining is that now NBA 2K16 will have all the playbooks of the historic teams. It will have their base offenses in the game for the historic teams to run. Also, they brought back the ability to practice your plays. And they also revamped the play calling system. Now, what they did with the CPU is they made them react to what the defense is giving them and make plays based on where the defense is moving. You'll see that in a lot of these plays here. Another thing they talked about is they rebuilt the triangle offense. They added the Princeton offense. They added a 3-2 zone offense to stop the 3-2. And they added dynamic decisions that will happen with the CPUs. If they see something in the play that could work out better, they will immediately go into that and make plays. So yeah, that's about the gist of it here. If you guys enjoyed this information that you received, please drop a like on the video. And I'll be coming to you guys with much more NBA 2K16 news. So yeah, have a good one, guys. Peace.